You will never see Dillon Danis at a UFC fight ever again.
Picture this, November 2025. Dana White steps up to a microphone and drops a bomb that sends shockwaves through the combat sports world. Dillon Danis, banned. For life. From the UFC. Forever. No appeals. No second chances. The internet erupts. Social media goes nuclear. But that's not even the wildest part. Because what Danis does next, the way he responds, it's so reckless, so utterly unhinged, that it leaves everyone asking the same question. What was he thinking? But to understand how we got here, to truly grasp the magnitude of what went down, we need to rewind. We need to go back to one night, one event, one moment where everything went completely, catastrophically wrong. Welcome to the story of UFC 322, November 15th, 2025, Madison Square Garden, the mecca of combat sports. 19,000 fans packed wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder, breathing the same electric air. This is UFC 322. The main event, Islam Makhachev, pound-for-pound king, Dagestani destroyer, defending his legacy against the surging Jack Della Maddalena. This was supposed to be a celebration, a showcase of elite mixed martial arts. The prelims are fire. Bo Nickel lands a vicious knockout that has the crowd on their feet. The energy is climbing. The Who's Baba O'Reilly echoes through the arena as the main card looms closer. Everything feels perfect. Everything feels right. But beneath the surface, something is brewing. Something dark. Something dangerous. Because sitting somewhere in that crowd, in a section he had no business being in, is a man who thrives on chaos. A man who's made a career out of crossing lines. His name is Dillon Danis. And tonight he's about to turn Madison Square Garden into a war zone. Dillon Danis isn't fighting tonight. He's not cornering anyone. He's not affiliated with a single athlete on this card. He's here as a spectator. Just a fan. But nothing about Dillon Danis is ever just anything. For years, he's made it his mission to antagonize the Dagestani fighters. Makhachev, Khabib's inner circle, their culture, their religion, their families. He's posted things online that go far beyond trash talk. Deeply personal attacks, cultural insults, the kind of provocations that don't just anger people, they ignite something primal. And now, he's here, in person, at Islam Makhachev's biggest fight of the year. At some point during the night, Danis makes a move. He leaves his assigned seat. He walks through the crowd, and he plants himself right near Makhachev's corner, right next to Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov, right beside Magomed John Pork Zainokov. The tension is instant. You can feel it in the air.
And you can see, some of the familiar faces. You can see the now very popular John Pork with the backwards hat, I do believe it is. Chanko, Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov too. I love this part here where he's like, yes, please hold my hat and let's go. And it all pops off. Dillon was wearing a New York Yankees hat. Here's the one dude with the with the chair, and it gets taken away and he just keeps going. Dillon is wearing a Yankees hat. He's wearing very big red shoes.
The stares, the body language, the clenched jaws. Everyone around them knows. Something is about to happen. It's not a question of if. It's a question of when. It starts with a look, then words, then a shove. Abu Bakr and Danis are face to face now, chest to chest, the crowd around them standing, sensing the danger. And then, boom, Zainokov throws a punch from behind. Danis never saw it coming. And just like that, all hell breaks loose. Over a dozen people rush in. Fists fly, bodies collide. Danis is swarmed, outnumbered, overwhelmed. He falls backward over the barriers. Drinks spill. Debris flies through the air.
Dillon's brother is in the mix as well, a friend or two as well, and it's just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the numbers are, 10 on 4, 15 on 4, but it could have gotten a lot worse. Shout out to Madison Square Garden security. I feel like they kept it as contained as possible.
The media row, reporters, photographers, cameras, thrown into absolute chaos. Somewhere in the madness, Danis loses a shoe. One shoe. Gone. UFC security floods the area. NYPD officers sprint down the aisles. They're pulling people apart, shouting orders, trying to contain the explosion. Danis is momentarily handcuffed, his hands behind his back, his face twisted in rage, and then they escort him out. Through the tunnels, past the shocked staff, past the horrified fans. But Danis, he's got one more act left. As he's being dragged away, he turns, he looks back at the crowd, and he flips them off. both middle fingers, one shoe missing, blood pumping. The image is captured. It goes viral instantly. A meme is born. Meanwhile, inside the arena, the main card is delayed 10 to 15 minutes. Makhachev's entire team is asked to leave. The event finally resumes. And later that night, Islam Makhachev wins his fight. But nobody's talking about the octagon. They're talking about the brawl. The post-fight press conference. Dana White sits down. The questions start flying. And Dana? He owns it. He takes responsibility.
I blame myself for that, actually. They came back and told me right before I walked out for the main card that Dillon Danis was here and he was moving around sitting in fighter seats and not sitting in his own seat that he had. He had a ticket. And they said, do you want us to throw him out of here? And I said, he has a ticket? And I said, yeah. And, you know, they told me, they said, Masvidal said he's going to up on site. And I said, well, where's Masvidal sitting? He said, well, he's 6 or 7 rows away from Masvidal. I said, well, if the guy has a ticket, let him sit in his seat and let him do what he's doing and keep an eye on him. It never even crossed my mind, as stupid as this could be, that the entire Muslim Brotherhood was here tonight in the first 5 rows for Islam.
His staff had warned him about Danis. They'd told him to remove him from the building, but Dana didn't listen. He let him stay, and now he regrets it. But then Dana says something that raises eyebrows. He refers to Makhachev's massive Dagestani support section as the Muslim Brotherhood. It's colloquial, it's casual, but it lands awkwardly. Some see it as insensitive, a misstep in an already volatile moment. But none of that matters compared to what comes next. Dana White looks directly into the camera and announces it with absolute finality.
And as soon as it broke out, I was over on the other side and I go, I know exactly what that is. I knew it. And yeah, you will never see Dillon Danis at a UFC fight ever again.
Dillon Danis is banned for life from the UFC forever. No appeals, no negotiations, no path back. It's over. Danis will never attend another UFC event, never fight under the banner, never step foot in a UFC venue again. And here's the thing, Dana doesn't pursue charges. The UFC doesn't press anything. Because they don't want legal drama. They want control. They want their violence inside the cage, not outside it. But the message is clear. You cross this line, you pay the ultimate price.
So they called me from downstairs and they said, we got him down here. Do you want to press charges and have him arrested? And I said, no, we don't want to press charges. This is the fight business, man. You know how I feel about this, you know, and I could have prevented this tonight and I messed up.
So who is this man? This man who just got erased from the biggest stage in combat sports? Dillon Danis was born in 1993 in New Jersey. A kid who got into a street fight as a teenager and decided to learn how to really fight. He found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He found Marcelo Garcia, one of the greatest grapplers on the planet. Danis would commute daily from New Jersey to New York City just to train.
Before I went to Marcelo's, it would be go sleep through school, or just look at stuff, and then go to train. And I would take every single jiu-jitsu class they had. Like literally, I would go to the gym at 4, do the 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. And I wouldn't stay all day.
Really?
And then like back then, I didn't drive, so either my sister would drive me, or my mom, or my grandma, or guys. I actually had a really close friend at the gym that would. He was a really cool guy actually. He passed away, but he used to drive me and bring me back home. And
the dedication was real. The hunger was real. And it paid off. He became a multiple-time BJJ world champion, a prodigy on the mats. Then he transitioned to MMA, signed with Bellator, won his first 2 fights by armbar in 2019, looked promising. But then, nothing. His career stalled. He stopped fighting. And instead of building a resume, he built a brand. A brand based on controversy, on drama, on association. Because Dillon Danis became best known for one thing, being Conor McGregor's friend. He served as McGregor's grappling coach. He stood beside him at press conferences. He was in the photos, in the spotlight, but never really in the cage. And over time, Danis leaned into the chaos. He was involved in the infamous UFC 229 brawl with Khabib. He harassed opponents online with deeply personal attacks. During the build-up to his boxing match with Logan Paul, he went after Logan's fiancée, Nina Agdal, so viciously that it crossed into harassment.
Me and him, I was posting him drinking whiskey and stuff like that, and he was like, And like one of his managers messaged me like, "What in that?" And I was like, "What's this guy talking about?"
He became the guy who talked more than he fought, the guy who lived off other people's fame. And now, at 32 years old, with a lifetime ban from the UFC, his options are running out fast. He joins a very short list. In 2010, the UFC banned Paul Daly for life after he threw a sucker punch after the bell. Now Danis is on that list, permanently. And for someone whose entire MMA dream was tied to the UFC, this is the end. The reactions come fast. Islam Makhachev's camp, unapologetic, defiant. Makhachev himself says Danis shouldn't just be banned from the UFC, he should be banned from the entire country. It's not just anger, it's disgust.
When you talk about someone like last 5 years you talk about someone, when you meet them, как будто ты должен отвечать за свои слова.
You have to answer what you said.
You have to answer what you said, And today, I don't think he answered, And he still say a lot of bad things about our team. And today he coming and somebody just meet him. He talk about this guy's bad, and today the guys just meet him. That's it.
Dana said he's banned from UFC events for life, so he'll never be back to one.
He has to ban from this country.
This feud runs deep, cultural, personal, religious. This isn't about competition. This is about respect. And Danis has none. Then Ali Abdelaziz steps up, Makhachev's manager, one of the most powerful figures in MMA, and he doesn't hold back. He calls Danis an internet coward, a nobody. He says this isn't over.
This guy, listen, at the end of the day, we live in an internet world where people say a lot of things they don't hold accountable. But it was our group, Listen, a couple of years ago, I have a problem with this guy too. And I slapped him. And he said I didn't slap him, I slapped him. And everybody saw it. And it was 1,000 articles wrote about it. I'm not proud about it. But in a way, I think that's why so many kids getting bullied. Because nobody can do nothing. You just get rated up. And I think people have to be held accountable. That's why you have to teach your kids how to fight, how to do martial art. To make him defend themselves. This guy is nothing but an internet coward. He's a nobody. He's a nobody. And in a way, when you talk about people, this is a warning for all these people who really talk. You cannot live this life behind a screen and a keyboard. When you're gonna meet the people we talk about, especially this group, they will hold you accountable.
That Danis and McGregor better apologize. The threats are thinly veiled. The message is clear. This isn't going away quietly, and Danis, silence. For once in his life, Dillon Danis says nothing. No tweets, no Instagram posts, no interviews.
Dana said that he is not allowed at any UFC events. Everything okay with your guys? I know some of them were removed.
Everything is good, brother. But I'm telling you, this guy is not safe. As Whole Food, at an airport, at a terminal. And if people catch this guy, he's gonna have problems. He's not done. These people not done with him. For the rest of his life, he's not done. Him or Conor, they're not safe. Or they have to come out and say, you know what? We're sorry. We give up. We are done. And after that, you'll get mercy. But there's no mercy.
It's November 18th, 2025, and the man who built his brand on running his mouth has gone dark. Maybe it's legal advice. Maybe it's strategy. Maybe he knows he's finally gone too far. He's got a Misfits boxing bout scheduled for December 20th. Maybe he's saving it for that. Or maybe, for the first time, Danis realizes there's nothing left to say. The media goes wild. ESPN and MMA Fighting run headlines about how the Brawl overshadowed the entire event.
Just mental, It's everybody seemed to know. I was not. This, Ariel. I was like 30 minutes later. I text you. I was like, I think something's after happening with Dillon Danis there, and you're like, yeah, go on social media. It's pretty crazy. I'm with you in terms of play silly games, win silly prizes kind of situation.
The New York Post and Barstool Sports turn it into comedy. Memes flood Twitter and Reddit. Danis with one shoe. Danis flipping off the crowd. Danis getting swarmed. It's mockery. It's entertainment. It's chaos. But Ariel Helwani, one of the most respected voices in MMA, raises a different point. He asks about fairness, about why Makhachev's team wasn't punished, about whether the UFC is playing favorites.
But of course, there's years upon years upon years of trolling, Instagram story posts, tweets, interviews, stuff about him talking about them in very disrespectful ways, to where you can't be shocked that any of this happened. And you had to have been, you had to have known that at some point this was going to happen in some way, shape, or form. He asked for it. Like, you talk all that, you asked for it. Do I condone that? No. Do I think it should have happened? No. But you had to have expected, you had to have known something like that could have happened.
It's a valid question, a fair question, but it gets drowned out by the noise, because the internet doesn't want nuance. It wants spectacle, and Danis gave them spectacle. The debate rages on. Did this hurt Danis, or did it actually help him? Did the attention boost his brand, or did it destroy what little credibility he had left? The truth? Probably both. Short term, he's everywhere. Long term, he's nowhere. Because without the UFC, without that platform, Danis is just another loudmouth with a limited future. This moment is bigger than Dillon Danis. It's bigger than UFC 322. It's a reflection of where combat sports are right now. The line between sport and spectacle. The tension between respect and hype. The growing influence of Dagestani fighters in the UFC, and the cultural clashes that come with it. This isn't just about one idiot causing a scene. It's about what happens when real rivalries, rooted in culture, religion, and respect, collide with the theatrical world of modern MMA. For Danis, the future is bleak. He's 32, banned from the UFC, limited MMA experience, a reputation built on controversy, not competition. He might get some boxing matches, some influencer bouts, some short-term attention, but long-term relevance? Doubtful. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev and the Dagestani wave continue to dominate. They're winning titles, building legacies, earning respect. And Danis? He's a cautionary tale, a punchline, a guy who talked his way into oblivion. So here we are. Dillon Danis, banned, humiliated, and isolated from the biggest stage in combat sports.
He's not going to fight in the UFC, and I don't think he was to start. He's got this kind of like, he's fighting with Anthony Taylor and he's throwing coffee at KSI. He's fighting with Anthony Taylor. He is cultivating like this Stone Cold thing. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he is cultivating this thing where it's like, he's a bad boy. He's banned. He's doing these things with Logan Paul and his wife. Like, he kind of is doing this thing where he's outside the lines. He's coloring outside the lines. Now he's fighting in Misfits.
His one shoe lost somewhere in the chaos. His credibility gone. His future uncertain. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev stands tall. His legacy grows. His dominance continues. And the UFC, it sends a message. You can talk. You can hype. You can sell. But the moment you turn their event into a street brawl, you're done. This is the story of UFC 322, the night Madison Square Garden became a battlefield, the night Dillon Danis went too far, and the night Dana White dropped the hammer. One question remains. Was it worth it? Thanks for watching. If you want more stories like this, where fame, ego, and chaos collide, hit that subscribe button, because in the world of combat sports, the drama never stops. Fade out.